All right, so I guess this is the second last video in my year-end roundup. Well, second last for a specific game. It's this one, and then we go into HeroClix, and then I might do another everything else kind of video. We'll see. So with Flesh and Blood, it's did pretty good this year. Let's see, they had the World Championship that was held in Osaka. It was from October 31st to November 3rd. And it featured classic constructed and rosetted booster draft, and players competed for their share of 300,000 US dollars. So its prize pool might be, I don't know whether it's equal to Magic or slightly under, because that's a share of $300,000, whereas the top prize for a Magic tournament is $100,000. But that's pretty great for Flesh and Blood, and it's a highly competitive game. So it's it has more players probably even than Magic, as people who purchase the product per capita, not total players. Just like how many people play the game that own the product is probably 90 to 99% for Flesh and Blood. Whereas Magic, it's about 80 to 90%, and Pokemon, it's 10%. So it's a player's game. And so winning the World Championship of Flesh and Blood, being a competitive game with lots of competitive players, is significant. And so, in this case, in 2024, Zagorz Kowalski was the world champion. Peter Bunsiak was battle hardened. I guess that's another format. I think that's the constructed. And then Nikola Kramaric was the calling champion. I think that might be the Rosetta Booster Draft. I can't remember exactly, but those are three different formats, and those are the champions for them. And hopefully, I didn't butcher their names. But as you can see, it has a robust competitive scene, and if you're looking for a competitive card game, Flesh and Blood is one of those games that you'd want to check out. I do like the mechanics of it. I do like the champion duel and having you outfit your character and you have a deck that's based around that. It's a cool game, and you should check it out. There's not many people checking it out in my store. Almost nobody until about halfway through the year, and then a fellow came in, and he was pretty great. He brought in a bunch of friends, but those friends had some life events come up, and they had to take a step back, which makes sense. That happens to players all the time, and it's really the onus is on me to try and cultivate more players, and I'm doing my best trying to get that. The next game that I talk about, HeroClix, being my favorite game, it's kind of hard when you're a small store and new and you're trying to get people into a new thing. It's easy with Magic because they're already into Magic. It's easy with Pokemon because they're already into Pokemon. Flesh and Blood, tougher sell, but I'm working on it. So I'd say Flesh and Blood booster boxes, they weren't the strongest sellers, but especially since the end of 2023, the singles started to move, and many stores figured that out, started to open up boxes and selling a lot of singles. So it's a very liquid market for the singles because the strong player base means that cracking boxes can move products. So, and by keeping the 3 sets a year and also reducing their print runs, the strength of the game started to creep back to Flesh and Blood, and the market has strengthened after their near death around Monarch when they massively overprinted, and then also there were some shenanigans with a certain other channel, and with ice balls or whatever, they kind of screwed Legend Story Studios, but Legend Story Studios buckled down, and their strong player base was fully supported. And you can see it because, like, if you look up the tournament scene for Flesh and Blood, they really, really, really support the game. And also, they give you these free armory kits as long as you're running events. So I haven't been able to get any armory kits because, again, the events dried up at my store. But the minute I can run events again, I look forward to that. But the point is that Legend Story Studios gives those armory kits away for free to the stores as long as they're running events, and because they really, really want people playing the game. And we even without that motivation, you'd want to run that in your store because they're having a dedicated player base coming into your store to play is kind of why you have a store in the first place, right? So it looks like Flesh and Blood has weathered the storm, and they're going to be doing well into the future. And I think 2025 is going to be really good for them. So, like most of the other card games, they may not be doing gangbusters like Pokemon, or even, going into a bull market like Magic the Gathering, but they're doing well, and that's good. And, you know, if you haven't played Flesh and Blood, go check out some gameplay footage. Watch some YouTubers who talk about how Flesh and Blood is played and what it's all about. And I think you'd be surprised how much you might like it. Because I remember when I had never even seen the game, and people would talk about it online, and all you would see in the comments in 2020 was that nobody played the game and it was just a scam. And that clearly wasn't true, because there were obviously people talking about playing the game in their store, and just because other people went to their store and saw no one playing it, and it was this whole thing. And now that attitude has been transferred over to, I guess, sorcery or other games. I guess people have accepted the fact that people play Flesh and Blood. Anyway, or maybe just people are more, optimistic and positive. So, in any case, that's all for Flesh and Blood, and we'll go into HeroClix next.